Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Black Entrepreneurs Institute, or BEI Live, I should say. We are here for another amazing show. I'm always happy to be here live with you all, and I'm here with our BEI co-founders, Angela Hooper Minifield,
Hello, everyone.
and the one and only Cedric LaFleur.
Well, hello.
Suited and booted
Booted and
today.
booted,
Hey,
making
y'all
money
bring
moves.
y'all bring the big dog in the house. We got to dress up.
Making money moves. How y'all doing this evening?
I'm always doing great.
Doing great, doing great. We had another session today with our boot campers, and whenever we meet with them, I'm just always excited.
Yeah, definitely. Like this, cohort number 5, your baby, the fifth baby. It's been an exciting journey, and just to see the growth, and every cohort takes on a different personality. Just to see this group just come in and continue to do the work, it's an amazing thing. But I'm excited about this guest that we have tonight. It's going to be amazing. But before we get into that, I want to talk about something, because I was reading today in Forbes Business magazine that billionaire Sir Richard Branson sold 300 million of his Virgin stock shares. And what they said he's going to do with the proceeds is, help the global leisure and travel and business industry, but also help people that have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and to help develop and growth for new and existing businesses. And I was just thinking about, just the possibilities and all the things that he's able to do. And it just brings to mind the necessity of business owners having multiple streams of income in their business. So think about Branson. I think it's 69 years, and estimated worth at 4.8 billion. He has Virgin everything, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Records, Virgin Mobile, even Virgin Wireless. Like, there's so many streams coming in, and of course hotels and radio stations and so much other things. So, in just thinking about entrepreneurship, business ownership, and just kind of long-term stability of business, Angela, why do you feel that small business owners need to have multiple streams of income?
Well, I think you said it. For one thing, it's because it gives us the capacity to be able to do more and to widen our reach. But the other thing is, everything is volatile. Cedric probably has played a bigger role in me paying attention, for instance, to the stock market the way that I do now. After hearing him teach about micro and macro streams of income 5 times thus far,
Right.
I can say that every time I get something out of it. But the one thing that the stock market shows you is things are cyclical, right? And so you got to ride the wave, as y'all say, catch the wave, but you got to ride the wave of that market. But it's also because if you're dependent on one thing,
Yeah.
and that one thing dries up, it could affect your entire livelihood. And your livelihood is not just your business, but it's your family, the people who depend on you for jobs and income and so much. So it behooves us to have multiple streams of income, have multiple types of clients, multiple type of billing cycles. Some pay you annually, some pay you monthly. The list goes on and on. But in order to be successful, you got to think bigger than just the moment.
That's so important. I love that. Thinking bigger than just the moment. So, Cedric, as Angela says, with your teaching and we listen to the multiple streams of income teaching now, and just impressing upon what can a business owner do if they find themselves now with just kind of just one source of income?
Yeah, and I'm going to get to that, but I want the audience to understand. See what Dr. Nick did at the very beginning? She slid in that she reads Forbes magazine on a regular basis. See that?
Making
Those
money
are the people
moves.
that you need to be around, right? People that read those big time magazines like that, right? So here's the thing. One, if you find that you only have one stream of income, you need to figure out why you only have one stream. Right? Because, that's the big problem, right? Is it because of lack of drive and motivation, or is it a lack of skill that you only have one stream of income, right? Then what they need to do is figure out what it is that they're good at. Right. And I don't just mean average good, right? Because there's a lot of average people that are out there. I'm talking about so good at it that people will pay you for it. Now, here's what I want you to think about. You have to think of something that you can do, that you like to do, that you'll do it so good, that you're so good at that you'll do it for free. However, you'll do it so well that they'll pay you double for it. You see, there's a difference in just doing something. Oh, don't worry about it, girl. I got you. Versus doing something they say, hey, we're going to pay you double to come in here and do this. All right. So having multiple streams of income is really the only way to go today and into the future. If you're sitting around with one stream of income, it's because of your lack of motivation and drive, right? It's not because there's a lack of things for you to do. There's not a lack of things that you're good at, right? You just have to sit down and think about it. I'll give you a quick example here. Some things that you can have for streams of income. You can start a blog, do paid surveys, right? Become a freelance writer, market an online skill that you have via like Fiverr or something. Start an online course, do a YouTube channel, have a membership website, write a book, create a lead generation website, right? Heck, you can even just join Amazon affiliate program. You can create an online course, or you can invest in real estate. Easy things for you to do to have multiple streams of income.
Awesome. I hope you guys are writing all those down, taking the tips, and putting those things into action. So, that segues great into introduction of our speaker tonight, because she has that big picture mindset, and our guest has truly diversified her business portfolio. So I'm excited to introduce our special guest tonight, Ms. Tam Lawrence. See, Tam Lawrence, she launched Exposure Magazine in 2013 as a means to honor the ordinary folks in the world doing extraordinary work within their communities at large. And today, the lifestyle publication is nearly 89,000 loyal paying keyword subscribers. And Ms. Lawrence is also responsible for the development of one of the fastest growing streaming app platforms, reaching over 160 million motivated consumers in 128 countries. And for over 25 years, Ms. Lawrence, she has been a serial business owner, never working a 9-to-5, and her example of living life on purpose. And today, to continue to expand her reach and influence, in 2019, she founded Exposure On Demand TV, one of the first Black woman-owned digital network promoting positivity on purpose. Exposure TV expanded its distribution by launching a series of channels for book authors, educators, coaches, crafters, homestyle, culinary artists, and even men's lifestyle. So the Exposure Network app is premium content distribution network available on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Google Play, Android TV, Apple TV, accessible in the US, UK, Canada, and Africa. Let me tell you, she's bad. Okay, so let's welcome to the platform, to BEI, Miss Tam Lawrence.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
We are excited too.
It's a pleasure. It's our pleasure to have you, because we know that this is going to be amazing. So I want to get down to it. Let's get started. And just, I talked about a little bit of what you're doing now, but talk about, how did you actually get started in this whole industry?
Oh man, I started out as a comedian. So I started out as a stand-up comic. Worked the Chitlin Circus, slept on some couches, slept in my car to get on stage and places. And that's what I did. Comedy was my life. I grew up in a household where my father was with the Nation of Islam and my mother was Pentecostal Apostolic. And so I thought, these people is crazy. Because one of them want to fast and the other one wants to do Ramadan. I think that sounds like we're about to starve. You grow up like that, life just changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to find humor when you're hungry. And they say laughter feeds the soul. So I started laughing and I was like, I'm still not full. But anywho, that's where my comedy stemmed from. And I would travel. I did BT Comic View. I used to travel with Jamie Foxx and some more. So I opened up for them. And I think my last go round kind of taught me a lesson. I was going to Marquette University at the time studying psychology. And I went to go get my check. And I remember the promoter saying, "Hey, let me holler at you once." I said, "Who?" You know, when they say that, that means they ain't got your money.
Yeah.
I was like, part, this the part right here where I quit.
Yeah. Because this is not a hobby for me.
It just stopped getting funny. And I remember what we were backstage one day in Chicago at a comedy show. Bernie Mac said, "When it comes about money, that's when it ain't funny no more," right? He said, "That's when you gotta think about it twice and you gotta change the game," right? So at that point, when I got 2 kids and this promoter don't got my money, oh, it's gonna be some smoke in the city. So at that point, it was done and over. Went back to Marquette, and at that time, I was raising 2 children by myself, and I hadn't taken the time to really invest money into my child's college, or didn't know how I was going to send my son to a 4-year university, right? So what I did was I found out about this first time program that they would allow students that were first time, I guess, you know, if the first person to go on to a college in the family to come into Marquette at $0, right? Through the EOP program, right? So mama had to strategize. Now, if I graduate, my son can't come here because he wouldn't be the first. I would be the first in the household. So I stayed in school until my son came. So I took everything I could think of. Just so I said, I need another elective, then another elective, and then another elective on top of the elective to get the other elective done. So I took psychology, graduated in that, went back to school, took school of communication, graduated in that, and then Rashi came right on in and he joined me. So I was a late, college student. My son came in right after me. But I was waiting for my baby. When I crossed the stage, he crossed the stage and walked into Marquette. So from that, I decided to work for Tim Thomas, did some public relations, went out to Dallas, and I worked for Countrywide. I did their securitizations and forensic audits and covered how they should deal with consumers. So it was kind of public relations still in that field. And from that, I went to the DNC in Charlotte, North Carolina. So when I got to Atlanta, this was my dream. Hunty, I promise you, every night I'd watch Atlanta Housewives. And I said, one day I'm going to be the Dwight Eubanks publicist. I declare that is me. You call me up, I'm going to be in that. I need to get to him because he's so funny. I loved him. I fell in love with him on TV. Even though he gay, I still love him. I don't know how I can turn a gay man straight, but honey, I'm straight on it. I'm kind of exaggerating. So I got in my car and I drove down to Atlanta. I found out that he do hair at the Purple Door. He'll tell you the same story. I drive to Purple Door, make me an appointment, and I sit right in his chair and he does my hair. When he finished doing my hair, I said, "Listen, I need to be your publicist." He was like, "Listen, I don't trust nobody to do nothing for me." He gave me that whole rundown. I said, "Listen, this is why I need to be your publicist." And then I tell him what I said, and I left. He didn't say nothing else. We didn't talk no more. The next day, my girlfriend, Renee, who's a film producer, she called, said she needed her hair done. I said, "We got to go back to the Purple Door." And we head on down to the Purple Door. This man runs up, hugs, and said, "Honey, I couldn't find your car. I listened to everything you said." And he hired me on the spot. From there, it was Atlanta Housewives. Bravo then hired me. And after that, it was a cinch. It was like easy to walk in anybody's door. But Atlanta has so much going on that at which point in time, it felt like I was in a space that I couldn't breathe no more. And I wanted to be able to do something to help. Not sometimes in life, we're called to do things. And it may not always seem like what you want to do because it ain't fancy. It ain't pretty. Servitude ain't pretty. I can tell you. But at Marquette, it taught me about my vocational calling. That you all have one. We have a moral obligation to society. My parents, yet that they were different in religion, they both were Pan-Africanists. So they taught me something that really stayed in my heart is whatever you do with your life, is it changing the world for the better of your
Yes.
people? And so when I go on set one night at Atlanta Housewives and I'm looking around, I'm saying, I'm putting out this stuff because I'm working for these people. I'm helping with the arguments. Matter of fact, I'm aiding in some of the conversations. She said that. She said that. Oh, she said. And after a while, you're like, wait a minute, this is misery. And misery love company. And I like to be by myself for a few minutes. Until I walked off stage and never went back.
Wow.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, I fired all my clients. I left everybody behind and I moved to Hawaii. And I went and searched to find me. I went to go find Tamu, Tam, whatever they knew me by. I went to go find the little girl within me. And that little girl needed some time. And that's what we, in life, you find that to be the absolute perfect condition is to find yourself, the little person inside of you, because the other person, the grown you, has been hurt so many times. The grown you has been through hell and backwards. The grown you has been through so much that you can't find the little child like you that would take the chance to open up a business. Mind you, I've never had a job in 25 years. I've been able to find that child like me somewhere in the depths of all of the trouble and trauma that you're going through in life. And when you find that child like you, that person, that little person in you is not afraid to take chances. It's not complacent. It's the same little you that touched the stove when your mama told you it was hot. Why you go up there and touch that stove? You great. You know, the same you that would get on the bike and ride really, really fast or get into, come on now. Y'all want to act like y'all Sadiddy. Who didn't take what's that, shopping cart and make a go-kart? Y'all know y'all did.
Absolutely.
Not the only one with sugar and Kool-Aid in my locker.
No,
Y'all
no, no, ma'am.
Kool-Aid turn your hand red. You like,
There's
here. You know that's wrong for licking out somebody else's hand.
You know, Andrew probably the only one that did. You know, Andrew grew up on that other side of it.
I did the shopping cart, but I wasn't the Kool-Aid. But go on.
Right. Oh, so she's a goodie.
Yeah.
I just didn't like Kool-Aid. I
You the
was
girl that
that
had the nut shoes and the Mary Janes in her locker. She was selling stuff. You know, because Angela all about business, honey.
Yeah.
You
You see how her name is Angela Hooper Minifield. You see, she would just go by Minifield, but she's that other.
Look, you better ask somebody. Look, it took me 8 years to add the Minifield. We was married 8 years. I was like, yeah, it look like I'm gonna keep you, so we'll go ahead and switch the name.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
No, that's after being divorced. You be like, I don't know if I didn't change my name enough in life, right? Look, I'm just gonna put it
See
out
how
there.
this work out. See how it work out.
I thought she might have watched one of them Tina Turner videos. All I want is my name. Rolling.
No, ma'am.
Is that you?
After you go through that name changing thing a couple of times, you be like, I'm gonna wait until I change it again.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I can confirm. I know that has got to be a journey to go through, but congratulations on your success of 8 years. I'm gonna send you a simple.
Oh no, we at 16 now, but it was 8 years before I changed it.
I ain't been nothing for 16 years other than own a business. Tell me how that feels. No, just kidding.
Well, the business hadn't been around 8 years, 16.
Oh my God. But how did you ask me a question? How did I get into it? It was out of school, wanted to be, Jerry Maguire. That was my show. I was watching Jerry Maguire one day and I knew I was him and he was me. And I was going to be him. Show me the money. And at the end of the day, I just wanted to move like he did. I watched that show so many times. Devil Wears Prada. Whole 9 yards. And then I just became a fan of the industry of public relations and communication. So media it's in my DNA. It comes so easy. But at the end of the day, I was working for Isaiah Washington. And he had sent me a script and told me to read the script. And it was about the DC sniper. You guys remember Muhammad, the DC sniper?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It was called Blue Capri. And I had read the script over. And in it, He kept saying they were not listening. They were not listening. They were not listening. And my undergrad is in psychology. And I just felt like, wow, in America, we are not listening to Black men to understand. We are listening to Black men to respond. And if we don't start listening, we're going to have more people who are going to end up killing, more people living in, displacement. And I think that kind of helped me understand that somewhere along the line, what I have, I can use it to help Black men to speak out. So I produced the first TV show, which was All Men Rock. So All Men Rock aired on AIB, which is a Turner, if you know about Turner Broadcast, it's one of their networks. And I was on Comcast and AT&T Uverse in Atlanta, Georgia, every Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. And I did everything from Cornell West to Tavis Smiley. I interviewed NFL players, NBA players. I went anywhere and everywhere to get the story of Black men. I just wanted to find out what was it? What was it? And I think the biggest thing that I heard was that most Black males have to become a man before they can even become a boy. They never get a chance to live out their childhood. They're forced into situations that every word that has to define a man is hard. He got to be hard to be a man. So that means that he has to be empty of feelings. He can't cry. He can't, who does he go to talk to if discussing my feelings is weak? So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a magazine too. I'm going to do a magazine and a TV show, and I'm going to expose things. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time, went back to school, even though I never worked. I kept going to school. I think I got addicted to them grants. I was like, ooh, this is good money. Not just kidding.
Money works.
I write for a scholarship. You don't got to work this week. So I went back and I went to KIT and I got my master's in journalism. And from there, I started to investigate. And I started to expose stories that I would find. Like right now, I'm exposing the fact that 64,000 African-American women are missing in this country. And nobody's talking about it on the news. But there are people that are snatching up people. There are people going over to Haiti right now, taking people against their will, but taking them into situations as if they think they're going to be safe, but they're throwing them into human trafficking. Nobody's talking about that on the news. We got an earthquake. What happens in devastation? People lose their lives. People also lose their safety. So that's how I got started. I wanted to protect my people and I wanted to expose things.
Wow.
Yep. That's it.
Awesome.
That's an amazing testimony, and it's so interesting because even the first time I met you, and it was on a call. I was introduced to you by Dr. Tracy, and I was just like, your story, your journey is phenomenal. Even though there were parts of it that I'm just now learning tonight, which is one of the reasons why we even collectively were like, we wanted to be a part of your vision. And as we talk about that vision, which is, being one of the first Black women-owned businesses in this digital space, what were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Somebody give me a drink. We're gonna have a drink. Can we drink on the show? No,
You sure can.
Hey.
Well, praise God for that. I was in California. I went to my first streaming conference, and I was the only little Black girl in this conference. I said, wait a minute, this is about to be some money made. And before that, I had started going to these Tony Robbins things. Boy, that man sure got a lot of my money. I want to call Tony about that. Maybe I should call him. But listen to this. I'm there, and I was listening to him one night talk about getting, education, mentorships, and advisors. So I said, I really am into studying my industry. Like, I will never get into a business unless I know the ins and outs. If I don't know the ins and outs, I'm not buying into that. So you got to know the industry, not just your product, but the industry as a whole. Because when it shifts and it moves, that was something that I had to work through, because everyone that I was doing business with was either European or from a foreign country. And so if you don't know technology and you can't read algorithms, it's a really interesting situation. Nobody wanted to give me money, not even African American business owners wanted to buy advertisement. And it was just like, okay, I'm going to have to go into this alone. I went and got every credit card you can think of, honey. What credit card you don't think I got? I showed you. I found out a way, and I found an advisor who spoke in those languages that I could trust. And I sent that person in there to handle the business. Because as a little black girl, nobody thought you could be this smart. Nobody thought you could have a vision so big. And so sending that person in helped me to get where I needed to go in this industry. So I would think that the first thing that was a barrier for me was the language.
Wow. You know, exposure. What made you decide that it was time for exposure TV?
Let me just collect my tears. Yeah, what made me decide? Exposure TV was, I got picked up by Magic Johnson Aspire for my show. When I got there, they wanted to change the show, not to straight black men, but they wanted me to tell the story of black men who were gay. And I was like, I'm not doing that. That's like me going to open up a liquor store and I own a church. I ain't doing that. Can't do that. If I can't, no, can't do that. You can't serve two masters. See, some people read some of the book, but not all, and we don't want to live by the whole thing, but we have to. That's not a choice. That's something that you do it because you know better, you do better. Right. And so I said no. So they held me under contract for 2 years. For 2 years, I couldn't move. I had nothing. I couldn't do nothing with it. So I waited it out. And I went to CBS. And once CBS said, Tam, we'll do it for you. So I tell CBS I want to do it with black men. I get Magic Johnson to say yes to an interview, and Michael Jordan, and then some other people kind of put around them. Them people quickly said, oh, you can pay for this airtime, honey, but we can't do that. They didn't want to put no money behind a show that was just going to be strictly African-American men. So I said, okay, fine. I put up my $30,000. I'm going in by myself. Them people put me on at 5:30 in the morning. I said, nah, y'all playing too much. I think they got more jokes. I said, somebody talking to me. Where's Ashton Kutcher? People that took they robbed me like a drug dealer. I said, wait a minute, this don't make no sense. I promise you, I've been in the streets before, but Lord have mercy, these people in corporate America is something else.
They robbed you with your own gun.
Right. Y'all talk like grown people. I can tell you something else that it felt like. So I said, Cedric, this ain't what we're going to do, Cedric. I talked to Cedric Nettles. I called and said, Cedric, I need something else. We got to do something else. What we're going to do is I'm going to television. Cedric said, I don't know how you're going to do it, Tam, but I know you'll do it. I got on a flight. I went to California. I found me a couple of conferences. I stayed. I studied. I stayed. I studied. I stayed. I studied. I got back. I found me an app developer, and we started building. It was time. I wanted a place where people can come. You can build your content. You can own 100% of it. You can be as creative as you want to. You can stay true to what you believe in. You don't have to sell out. If you go to Bravo with a clean show, you know how quickly they'll dirty that show up? Because guess what? Controversy in Black communities sell.
Right.
But nobody wants to take the chance of negating a negative with a positive. Like, why not? So we never create the positive. We never have a balance. And right now in this space, a minority space, we don't have a balance in television. So until we start, HBO just did a deal with me. And they said to me, Tam, what would you name the channel? I said, I got this thing in me that says that it's on us. This time, right now, it's on us. It's not what happened in slavery. It's not what happened 20, 40 years ago. I got you. We mad about it. We got to get on. Let's move on. Right now, it's on us. We own airwaves. We can control the content that we put out. We can do better. We don't have to be entertaining buffoonery. We don't have to jump around and get dressed in skirts and dress, and confuse
Mhm.
our children.
Right.
These babies is being confused by the content that we putting out, and it's more of us than them putting it out about us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Mhm.
This is such a powerful conversation, and we can feel your energy, feel your passion about this topic, and just the depiction of minorities in media. And we've been in your training and just hearing your personal testimony as well. Can you go a little deeper and just kind of tell us, how does exposure TV become a part of the solution for this?
Being able to take this wonderful stream of content that we can produce and being able to also show people where we can take our cell phones and create content, right? So let's just say this. When pandemic happened, we were actually getting off a flight in New York going to the African American women in cinema. So I'm on my way to the film festival. I ain't thinking nothing about no people taking no cameras and making no content. I'm going after indie films that we can take and put on to the network that would tell our story from our point of view.
Mhm.
Celebrate the diaspora of African Americans in cinema. That was my dream. That was the vision. That was how we wrote it. But when a pandemic hit and we had to turn around, a sister had to take some lemons and make some lemonade real quick. I'm like, oh boy, God got a sense of humor. How about that? Who else is laughing? So we got back in the studio. I said, listen, we got to Uberize this thing. They're like, Tam, you got a language that don't nobody else understand. What in the world is Uber? Listen, we're going to Uberize it. Uber took your car and said, I could teach you how to make some money. Airbnb came from Sweden and said, you got an extra room in your house. I could teach you how to make some money. I said, you got a cell phone in your pocket. I could teach you how to make some money. Now, at the end of the day, that is exactly how we came up with the whole concept of running things through everyday people who were creating content. Now, if you have the ability to write a book and you got a book in you, you got a movie in you, you got a sitcom. Now, if you decide you're going to do it or not, is on you. But your story is what can help our children. We are creating bridges, darling. We are making history. Right now, I showed the product to HBO. The man said to me, Tam, you are ingenious. I didn't even call them people. I don't even know them like that. Really, I'm like, oh my God. I've been saying to Mr. Jacobs, this feels really great, and I thank you so much, but please do not stick me with one of them contracts where y'all take my publishing rights and my airtime from me. If that's what you're doing, it ain't gonna work. They literally did the VC, the raising of capital, everything that we needed for this. So when I tell you that I have sat down and said, listen, we can build the future for our children. How many broadcast schools do you know that are in the public school system teaching our kids how to be creative? How many music classes and art classes got cut? Where is all that creative juice going? They are now raising our children to take on trades like, plumbing and this and electrician.
Welding.
But wait a minute, everybody wouldn't build for that. Could you imagine me taking up plumbing? Well, wait a minute. When you ring your doorbell, your toilet gonna flush and something else gonna happen in the house because I'm not supposed to be. Somebody bring me a drink. We need to talk. I'm out of here. That's why I never had a job. I would walk up. I'd be like, oh, Jesus, this ain't the right place for me. It don't even match up with my behavior. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to tell you, I belong in TV. And I know it's a bunch of I got people in this room with me, and they laughing. Y'all niggas.
Well, I see a little person in the corner.
Yeah.
There's a little person in the corner.
They over there holding their stomach and jumping.
Tell them to don't laugh.
they got drinks.
Oh.
Tell them to bring you one.
Angela said, bring her a drink. No, I'm being serious. These people is crazy. And the school system hasn't changed in what, almost 30 some years?
Right.
But yet technology, come on now, if we got this right here, why isn't technology growing just as well as our classrooms? Like the sophistication of people learning coding in the classroom. Are we teaching coding to all of the children? Come on now. This is ridiculousness. So I felt like, listen, let's bring some babies in here. So over the pandemic, when school was out and kids couldn't go back to school, we actually had kids interning. They were from college, so I'm not going to call them kids. They were college students from historical Black colleges. Today, Keon Cage is now with ESPN from his internship with us. We are going to continue to keep building bridges and teaching these kids, giving them hands-on experience. That's very important. They need to know how to do this, how to create content, how to create their own news shows, how to create a sitcom, how to bring things alive and tell their side of the story. I think sometimes when you silence people, that's when you don't know how to effectively treat them. I'm not only just in television, I'm also in government. I work as a registered state lobbyist in Wisconsin, and I'm lobbying on behalf of seniors, but I also see areas where we can help these babies. So whether we're teaching financial literacy, we're teaching business ownership, these things are very important. We need an economic liberation within our Black communities. And if we don't get to that point and somebody doesn't pass out the memo, we in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what we're doing today is archiving content for our children to look back 20 years or 10 years from now or 5 years from now and be able to have a blueprint to success. What is that? If we're not willing to document it, all you're saying is the same thing that happened to our ancestors is going to happen to our children, where our parents didn't document anything. They didn't leave a blueprint behind. I need to know what Cedric, how did you get this money, Cedric? How did you come about trading? How did you build your wealth? I need to know how Angela was able to map out BMI. What was that about? Tell me your story and document that so that our babies could look back and say, Miss Angela said, do this, do this, do this. But we forever leave our children at the hands of other people. It says that our people will perish without knowledge.
Right.
You must use this tool to do the work. Malcolm X said that media had the ability to make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. It's the most powerful piece of a weapon that we will ever have to fight against poverty, ignorance, and misguided people.
Wow.
Yeah, that's I have to agree with everything you just said, literally everything you just said. And it's so powerful. And we do, we started this even, organization because we saw some of the gaps that you're speaking to about entrepreneurship and things like that. And so as we look at what exposure TV is, as well as magazine, how can minority business owners really take advantage of some of the opportunities that you're making available for us?
Mm-hmm. Well, first and foremost, support Black media outlets, whether it's me or somebody else. If they're out there doing it, we got to support one another. That's so important. Because so many of us died off during the pandemic. Not even Black media outlets as you know it. TV One is not owned by Kathy Hughes no more. So people, a lot of us got bought up by bigger brands or bigger companies, and you had to move out of your seat and give it up to somebody else if you couldn't stand the rain, because the pandemic wasn't planned for. We don't plan for pandemics in this country, right?
Right.
So I think that right now, what they could do is look at channels like yours, any other channel that's out there that's on the network, and build on that. One thing that I do encourage African Americans to do is to have info commercials. As a publicist, I don't see many brands doing info commercials. You may be doing Facebook Lives. You might have a little commercial, but an info commercial is something that helps the consumer understand the benefit of your product and your brand and how to use that and how experts in that area see it, right? I was just telling Cedric the other day, I have a girlfriend who does a organic deodorant, right? She takes this product and she takes us to the store and she reads the back of the labels and she actually takes it to a scientist and to an oncologist and she gets the results of what could happen because there is all these toxic products inside, ingredients inside of these deodorants that we're using, and it's killing us. And so her, product is now been identified by two experts who are saying, yeah, your Sure deodorant and this other deodorant does have these things in it. And then she says, hey, look at my product. Tell me what's in this product that could harm this person or harm anybody that's using it. And so then that person gives that advice or whatever the case is. What I'm saying to people is people don't buy into products, they buy into people. But they also want to understand the benefit. So I'm one of the people I find the biggest problem and then I solve it. How about that? And that's what I think we need to do right now in Black media is support people who have platforms. Go on and find out more about Exposure Network TV and see where you fit into that. Because there is a grant that we're doing right now. Again, I'm doing it again. This is the second time around that I've done this, but I'm doing $14,000. I'm giving it away. Like, just somebody, let me help you. Let me help you, because you want to get in front of 160 million households. The same way that you would take your money and time to invest in YouTube, which you don't own your content, you lose your publishing rights, right? People don't pay attention to that. Let me just say this. YouTube is 10,000 followers before they give you $1.74 per person or subscriber. And now they check to see if your subscribers are real because they know about the bot system. So they want to see if they real, so they watch for engagement. You get $1.74. How much money did you spend to get 10,000 people to come and watch your YouTube channel? I want you to use that same money, and I want you to come on over here to Exposure, and I want you to spend some money with Expert TV and invest whatever amount of money, and then take that same money you would have got YouTube and get 100% of your earnings or your rights to your content. Now wrap some commercials into that. What if you had 30 minutes? You ran a show, 30 minutes. Then you're gonna take $600-700 and wrap reoccurring commercials around it. Now you're making reoccurring what? Yeah. You're making money on a regular basis into your bank account. You're putting out content. You're selling product now in 160 million homes. You're in 128 countries. You can't tell me that you can go wrong with that kind of advertisement. Streaming may be new, but can I tell y'all something else that used to be new? YouTube.
Right. Exactly.
Sometimes you just get right on down to common sense. Facebook used to be new and it used to have one subscriber.
Right.
So when people say this is so new, listen, the evolution of what? 8-tracks? Anybody used to listen to 8-tracks? 8-tracks? Yeah, come on, somebody. Look at Andrew.
Dr. Nick too young for that.
Yeah.
You're not that young.
You had a 45.
Yeah.
I know what they look like.
You got a reel in your house still.
Oh, you know it.
So,
I got my cassette player sitting right back here too.
You probably do. And
I got that.
I'm not kidding. Wait a minute. Let me turn my mic so you can see it. It's kind of hard for you to see it, but it's right there.
Oh wow!
It's a double cassette player. Still sitting on. It still works.
Really? Would you be listening on there?
Hey, I pull out my Cameo.
That's DJ Steady said.
Yeah, he like the DJ.
Yeah,
don't get him started.
Yeah,
BEI after dark.
Right.
I pull out my Zap cassette tape, and I'll put on some, Do I Did It.
Don't forget your I Want to Be Rich. Now,
that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's
theme music.
right.
That's your theme song.
So, so something you said earlier, and I have a question, but something you said earlier was about these infomercials, right? So before the pandemic started, Nicole and Angela, you remember I started 1550 marketing, right? Was to help entrepreneurs come on my show, and we put on a 30-minute commercial for them, or a 15-minute commercial for them, right? So you're spot on. See, a lot of times, a lot of people miss that. That's what they should do to get their product and their service out there, right? But here's the thing: they're afraid to spend money on marketing. It's crazy. Yeah, that's why they're not making money, though. Let me stop. Okay, so
no, but that's true. It's the weirdest thing. I think that Facebook has really got people confused what real business is.
Yes.
Real business is not what y'all see on Facebook. It's
Right.
not that. If you want to become a mid-sized enterprise, you can't think. I think that they're thinking sole proprietorships on, and they don't even do they still do sole proprietorships?
Yeah.
They do. Oh, that's a mistake for real. But anywho, I don't know. But on the social media climate has changed how we do business. I'm a traditional business person because I come from way back in the day with this thing. We didn't have social media. It wasn't about numbers. The numbers that we were looking at was in your bank account. I didn't care about how many likes you got, how many shares you got. That has changed the climate of how we do business in this country, and especially amongst African Americans, because we go to look at somebody's Facebook page. I wonder how many people she like, or how many people like her. Listen, I don't care. The real business I did was when I was swimming the other day with this Jewish lady who said, Tam, I want to put my cooking show on your channel. We do business on golf course.
Right.
Nobody's doing business on social media like that. It's a great place for entertainment. It's a great place for entertainment. But you gotta grow past that. And people gotta understand pandemics don't plan, but you can. And it's time for people to start planning ahead of time. There's a second variant that's out there. Who knows if this thing is going to shut down again? And are you ready? Are you ready?
Absolutely. So we have like 2 minutes left, Tam, but I want to ask you a question here. Some people may believe that, hey, so this streaming thing has been around for a little while now, and I've missed the boat on it. In a minute, help people understand that they haven't missed the boat on this yet.
Oh no, this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. This is new to everyone, from Walt Disney on down to ABC Live. Streaming is at the beginning phases. You either get in or you'll be behind, because there's no people who say, what just happened? There's people that say, let's make things happen. You know the whole thing. I can't remember it off the back. I'm kind of like Bush right now. I'm wrong. But anyways, if you don't see no problem.
Exactly.
You're gonna wake up and you're gonna have a problem. But this is the beginning. This thing by 2022, it will be worth $700 billion. African Americans spend $1.6 trillion into the economy. If you are not a part of that, I think you're missing the boat, because streaming is the future. This is how we will do business with one another. There is no going back to what used to be. You have to start looking ahead and planning for the future. This is it.
Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with you. And folks, we're talking to Ms. Tam Lawrence. She is the owner, the founder, chief executive of Exposure TV Network, and in which Expert TV has a channel within Exposure TV Network. So she's the source, folks. You've heard it directly from her on what you need to do and what you should be doing in your business if you want to grow your business, take it to the next level. You're going to reach out to us, and we're going to share a link with you how you can have your own TV show right today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. Today, you can create your own TV with this right here, with your own smartphone. right? So I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's been a great show. We've enjoyed it. Thank you, Tam, for coming on. Make sure that you watch the replay on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys, and you have a good rest of your evening.
Good
Good night,
night.
Good
everybody.
night. Good night.